Hello everyone, and welcome to my $115 budget gaming build. We're using an Intel Xeon X3470, 8GB of DDR3 ECC memory, a Supermicro X8 SIL, and an Nvidia GTX 750 Ti. You can use pretty much whatever power supply you want, so long as it's over about 250, 300 watts. And we're going to be recording it with my Elgato HD60 Pro on another computer. So we're not going to lose any FPS, by running the recording locally. A couple notes as the video plays out. The FPS counter in the top left is recorded locally on the $115 gaming PC. So what you see is what's actually on the screen. And please forgive my gaming skills as I've tried to play a bunch of different games in a short period of time, and they might not all be perfect. The main point is just to see how the games look, how they perform, and what you can expect out of a $115 gaming PC. Dark Souls 3 here is running at 1080p ultra settings, or max settings as it says in game, and we can improve performance a little bit just by stepping down to 1600 by 900, and that'll give us constant 60. This PC has just been really impressing me, and hopefully I can show you just how well it runs some of these games. And this isn't just for the gamers out there. If you guys already have a server or workstation type computer and you want to add a video card, do some light gaming, or turn it into a home theater PC, hopefully I can just show you what it really can do. Skyrim Special Edition is a title that just looks great, runs great. It has a couple minor performance issues in larger areas and longer view distances, but honestly, those are even minor. I would expect to keep constant 60 FPS 1080 at high settings. Here we can see a little bit of that longer view distance performance drop, but even there, it's not too bad. Grid Autosport is an amazingly well optimized game. I'm absolutely surprised it runs as well as it does on this hardware. As you can see, we're well into the low 100 FPS range, and we're running max settings with 2x AA, and it just looks absolutely phenomenal. Here in ABZU, we're going to see our first major performance hit, and I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the 750 Ti is running at completely stock settings. So with a little bit of overclocking, which any video card can do, you'll see a bit of a performance improvement. But we're seeing about 30 FPS. This game is notoriously not easy to run, so nothing too surprising here. But you'll notice performance dips even down into the 20s in the next scene. Bioshock Infinite is another surprise for me here. I actually haven't played this game a whole lot. I was a huge fan of Bioshock 1 and 2, but didn't get a lot of playtime on Infinite. Performance is really good, way above 60, or well above 60, and graphic settings are on high. I believe I have anti-aliasing turned off, but to be honest, at this price point, I wouldn't expect to have it on for most titles. Just not much to say here. You'd have perfect Bioshock experience with this rig.
Both of them back safe and sound.
My absolute favorite game of 2015, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. unfortunately, I only have a couple clips here, but I'm running in max settings with anti-aliasing off, and we're able to maintain a constant 60 FPS. It's absolutely awesome to see this game running, even on lower spec hardware at constant 60.
And he gets pretty lonely too.
In Alien Isolation, we're able to keep ultra high settings at 60 FPS with FXAA turned off, and performance is great. It looks great. Just really super surprised this PC is able to handle it. And while this gameplay clip is running, I just want to talk a little bit about the hardware. What kind of spurred me to do this was using my $135 NAS build, just thinking of other things I could do with it. And that combined with the fact that I'm disappointed with the other budget gaming PC offerings on YouTube, and I thought I could do one better. So not only do you get to, see actual gameplay and performance, you're really saving a lot more money than what you would expect normally. Here in Titanfall 2, we are running adaptive resolution. Other than that, we're running high settings, so the game will crank down the resolution, the internal rendering resolution a little bit as things get harder to render. But honestly, I don't see that as affecting my, I guess, perspective and sort of experience overall. So I had a really good time playing this, and I have way more footage than I need of this game.
This is Sloan. The Ark is headed your way. I'll let Viper take it from here. See you soon.
Another game that I unfortunately haven't played enough of, Dishonored 1. I mean, I even have Dishonored 2, I haven't played that yet. But it's a beautiful game. We're running absolute max settings with FXAA on, and we're able to keep constant 60 FPS. I used to be one of those people that had to have the latest and greatest hardware. I mean, I've got a 7700K 1080 Ti system that's my main gaming system, but I mean, honestly, I've been just enjoying running this lower spec hardware and seeing what I need to do to get games to run well and look good. And a lot of times it's just, I mean, every time it surprises me what this thing can do. I think esports games are going to be the most important segment and part of this video, because if you're only spending about $115 to $150 to $200 on a computer, you're going to be playing a lot of free-to-play games and a lot of multiplayer games that are pretty cheap. So just because they're cheap doesn't mean they're easy to run. But as you can see here in Overwatch, running max settings, FXAA is turned off just to give us that little bit of performance boost. But we're getting good performance, and I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on screen.
Killing spree.
In the next couple games, we have MOBA games, so we have Heroes of the Storm here, and on all three of these next games, we're running absolute maximum settings, including AA, and of course, performance is, as you would expect, super great.
Nature has run.
One note I want to make about this League of Legends clip is that it's replay and not actual gameplay. So an interesting thing about League of Legends is that the replays are harder to run and more taxing on your system. So I figured that if we're watching a replay and we're getting 80 FPS, we'll get even better performance when we're actually in game. Man, this game is actually aged really, really well. This is my most played game on Steam. And honestly, it's making a good case for the fact that you could even run a 120 or 144 hertz monitor with this build. For some reason, CSGO is easier to run than Team Fortress 2. It's a newer game. It looks better. I mean, I guess TF2 is a little bit cartoony, but I mean, this is really, really good performance. And nothing I would complain about here. Here are a couple other games that couldn't really fit into any of the other categories, but we have Grim Dawn and Diablo 3 coming up after it. These games are a little bit harder to run because you have so many elements on screen, and I think they're pretty CPU bound. The graphics aren't too intense, so a CPU upgrade might help these perform a little bit better. But honestly, I don't notice FPS loss in either of these games as much as other games. I guess it's just due to the action RPG style. So, just a couple things to conclude here. Um, I think that most people don't need as much of a gaming PC as they build, and they can really focus their money on other things such as the peripherals, controllers, hard drives just to store all of your games. Buying games themselves, I mean, they're not really that cheap. And, it's just buy what you need, and I guess if you have the extra money, you can plan for upgrading or spend a little bit more than what you need and have something nice. But honestly, um, as a second PC or as a first foray into gaming, you don't need to spend a whole lot of money. And I hope that I proved that with this video. So if you need to go back and watch any of the clips, go back and do that. But again, this was just with the 750 Ti. I have a couple other clips running some of the same games with a 1050 Ti, which is a huge improvement over the 750 Ti. Same system otherwise. So yeah, so hopefully I'll come out with that soon. Other things I didn't really mention, I mean, besides it just making a good home theater PC so you can do Plex and, MB, Netflix, really anything you want. You can do web browsing, couch games such as Rocket League or really anything with a controller. They're super fun, and it's nice to have another PC to do those things. So if you already have a main gaming PC, sometimes it's still worth it to build a cheap little rig, and you can sit there with a controller, an Xbox 360 controller, or Xbox One controller, or a DualShock controller, and play games on your couch. I'm not a PC gaming elitist where I say like, oh, I gotta use a mouse and keyboard only. Sometimes, I just want to sit and play with a controller. So a system like this is great for that. And especially if you're gaming on a big TV, you don't need to have the highest graphics settings or, full 1080 or full 4K all the time. You can have lower graphics settings because you're sitting farther away. You don't notice it as much. I want to say a special thank you to all of the patrons that have supported me over the past 11 months. And we're coming up on one whole year, which is super exciting. And to everyone that's joined the Discord, we've got 1,800 members as of yesterday, which is not necessarily a milestone yet. I'm really looking forward to 2,000 members, but we'll be there soon. Thanks to everyone that's subscribed on YouTube. Just hit 1K subscribers, so with the new YouTube monetization rules, I'll be able to get that back too. Check out the subreddit, join the Discord, follow me on Instagram if you want. I don't really use Twitter a whole lot, but you could follow me there. And thanks for everyone that's supported me for this long, and hopefully I can make more gaming content and things like this in the future. As always, check out the latest guides, and those should be able to found on my subreddit somewhere in the important links section. And yeah, I've been having a blast this past year, and almost past year, I guess. And thank you to everyone that supported me. Feel free to comment and ask questions. And if there's anything about this video I can improve for next time, please let me know. And I really look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.
And Sparky makes 4.